Well, we had Beasley welcoming in the Calgary Flames just like normal, but things, I would say, far from normal, but maybe not so much. It felt good to have hockey back here in the Scotiabank Saddledome. Obviously, no fans, but an important step for the Calgary Flames is it was Team Red versus Team White, an inter-squad game here at the Scotiabank Saddledome, and boy, a lot of fun for us to watch, and it looked like a lot of fun for the players. Peter Loubardias stops in, and Peter, when you get an opportunity like this, obviously, as we've mentioned, it is an integral part of the process to get ready, and we saw some pace out there. We saw some high-level skill, but what to you stood out when you watched the first scrimmage of this training camp 2.0?
Well, lots of things and lots of individuals, but I've looked at it this way. Week number 1, which was done, was about refreshing and puck touches. This today marked the start of what I call competition week, and there was good competition. And who was in the spotlight? Well, when I came to the rink today, was I 100% expecting to see Dylan Dubé? Missed a whole week. You know that he's looked very, very good in Phase 2 leading up. Well, for a guy who played in every situation, boy, oh boy, did he deliver. 2 goals. And, the thing that I've always loved about Dylan, going back to as a 16-year-old member of the Kelowna Rockets at the Memorial Cup, 2 times at the World Junior, including his last year when he captained Canada to the gold medal. Big stages have always seemed to work really well. So didn't really know what to expect. It was great to see him back on the ice. And not only did we see him, he made a huge impact in this red and white game.
Well, and you asked him this morning in our WebEx, our video conference, press conference with him, the first time we had a chance to talk to him at the training camp, just about exactly what you said in some of those moments. And you kind of get that sense from him that he just sort of lives up to these types of things.
Well, I never think it's an accident. The National Hockey League playoffs are the most difficult stage, by and large, that you can be on. But I've always felt over the years that when you see people at other levels play really well when it's the most difficult, I have a tendency to find that it carries over. And he has always, talking about those events to this point, has always played very, very well. And I kind of felt going into this camp that he might be one of this team's X factors, and I'm not feeling any less like that after this little soiree we had here tonight.
Well, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention his line mates. Sam Bennett and Milan Lucic, they skated through the first part of training camp here in this second group that had 8 skaters and a goaltender, and Milan Lucic mentioned it to us. It is a little different when you only have 8 guys, certain things you can work on. So for them, the first opportunity to have, live game action, there was a bit of a scrimmage a couple of times for the first group. This for them was a big step, and boy, did they deliver.
Well, with Derek Ryan still working his way back into the mix, Sam Bennett found himself in the middle again of Lucic and Dubé, and they were outstanding all night. Sam Bennett, who has 11 career playoff points in 20 playoff games. You want to talk about a guy who's had his ups and downs during the regular season? No question. But has he always performed well when the lights have shone, the brightest? Absolutely. And he, along with Dubé and Lucic, I thought were terrific. The best line not named Mangiapane, Backlund, and Tkachuk, who were also off the charts. And then when you get to Milan Lucic, these are the times why you brought him here in the first place. 114 National Hockey League playoff games, 70 points, has won a Stanley Cup, and for the last 7 or 8 days, you might worry about some people being ready. This guy is another player that you've never had to worry going all the way back to his time with the Vancouver Giants. When the lights have been on bright, this guy has more than held up his own end of the bargain.
Yeah, it was fun to watch that line tonight. In fact, both of them that you mentioned happened to be on Team Red this evening, and they did 40 minutes of regular scrimmage action. The third period, more special teams work, but that's where Milan Lucic got his goal in that third period. But all the men you talked about accounting for some of the scoring in this game. Before we let you go, let's just touch on the goalies just a little bit in this hockey game. Obviously, the first, as we kind of touched on earlier after the first intermission, there was some offense, a lot of skill level. Maybe the structure wasn't quite there just yet, but in the second, things seemed to settle down just a little bit, including the goaltenders.
Well, I thought they both acquitted themselves pretty well in the game. I didn't think it was a game where there was a lot of separation. And, the judgment came more in the first 2 periods when it was a regular type game. They certainly got some good work and some good reps when they went through the special teams practice in the 3rd period. But, these two gentlemen are both more than capable of being the guy come opening night, August 1st. I thought they both acquitted themselves well. I didn't think it was a night of great separation. Let's put it that way.
All right, one thing before we let you go. I'm expecting we might have another opportunity to see some scrimmages this week goes along. But what for you, will you be watching for in the second portion of this training camp 2.0?
Well, I truly believe that your success in the playoffs is your ability to play with great structure and how you defend. And in the Winnipeg Jets, they have a group loaded with talented forwards. I think at playoff time, that always makes a big difference. We saw a lot of skill over structure tonight. I think as competition week continues, you're going to see that area really become more fine-tuned. It's so important.
Well, as for tonight, it goes in the books, I suppose, unofficially or officially, however you look at scrimmages, as a 4-4 tie. But for all intents and purposes, the first 40 minutes, we'll give the decision to Team Red because it was 5-on-5. Sam Bennett will get the game winner, I suppose, at a 3-2. Is that fair? I would say.
It's fair.
It's fair.
I give you the decision.
I'll take the decision. Either way, we are filled with smiles because it was fun to watch hockey here at the Scotiabank Saddledome and can't wait to see more of it as we continue. Our thanks to Peter Loubardias.
Absolutely my pleasure. Being back in a rink watching hockey, sign me up for more.
We'll see you again soon.